We are at a crucial place in the year where spring is not quite close enough for us to grasp, and winter has already felt long. We're far away from Christmas, and honestly, if you're like me, it is time for a little reset. Little midwinter reset to just get us back on track, help us feel motivated again, and just get us back to a good place. I feel like at the beginning of January, I have so much motivation. There's this feeling of freshness, of newness, and it kind of gets me through those first few weeks of January. And then kind of somewhere at like the third week of January, I know that they have like Blue Monday or whatever. I think that's like the third week of January. And that's when most people feel like the most depressed. And then it kind of just goes downhill from there. And it's just like this, I feel like we're in this weird season where it's like, yeah, we're in the in-between. So how do we combat that? How do we give ourselves a little bit of motivation? We are going to chat about that today. Welcome back to Hot Mess Habits. I'm your host, Victoria Harder. I am a photographer, content creator, mom, wife. I work from home. I work in digital marketing and I own my own business. Lots going on. And I also run this podcast for the everyday type B girly who wants to do all the things, wants to achieve, wants to have really good habits, but can find herself kind of spiraling and needs a little bit of extra help. That's me. I've been there and I still am there most days, but I strive to keep showing up even when it's hard, even when things don't go exactly as I would like them to. Today is honestly one of those days for me. I woke up and I could feel the tiredness in my body. I could feel that I was just like, oh, this is not feeling like a good day. My brain was moving slowly. I'm like trying to make our meal plan for the week and it was just, I couldn't think of anything. And so these are days when I definitely have to rely on just kind of pushing through and doing the bare minimum and realizing that like, okay, today's probably not going to be the best day of my week, but I'm still going to show up. I really wanted to like, even right now, this is my time block that I have to record my podcast. I literally was so just wanting to have a bath and I'm like, I'll just record it like, next week. But then when I was thinking about it, it's like, honestly, if I don't record right now, it's not going to happen. So here we are. I have my podcast script. I have all the things that I need and I am excited to show up with you guys today. And this is just your reminder that like I am also working through all these things right here with you. And yeah, I'm not perfect. I do not have everything figured out, but I am on this journey with you and just providing the tools that I am also currently using and working on in order to be able to show up and live with as much intention as possible. Okay, so when we're talking about winter, the first thing that we need to do for a little winter reset is just to let go of these high expectations that we have of ourselves, of these perfectionist tendencies, because what we can do is we can expect this like high energy version of ourselves to just magically show up all year long. And the reality is at this time of year, most people are experiencing more low energy. They're feeling the like natural like feeling of just like wanting to be cozy, wanting to be inside, not wanting to be like in their hustle era. For me, I am the most motivated and have the most energy to do things in the spring and in the summer. In the fall and the winter, it's very much like my brain is working in a different capacity. And so I just want to remind you, like, you don't need to expect yourself to be performing at the same capacity every single day of the year. There's different seasons for different things. And I really believe that like winter is a season to rest, to be inside, to take more time, to be more slow. And so if you are finding yourself feeling really frustrated with yourself, if you feel like you're not meeting your own expectations, I would just challenge you to maybe reframe those expectations a little bit. Be okay with things operating a little bit slower. Be okay with the fact that, you probably are not going to be waking up like 3 hours before the sun comes up, because that's just not fun. That's depressing. And the people that do that, I'm very proud of you. But, for those of us who, maybe it's very easy for us to wake up when the sun's up in the summer, but then when it comes to fall and winter, that's like just not going to happen. That's okay. Like, it's okay for our routines and our rhythms and our habits to change as the seasons go. So I just want to encourage you with that if you've felt a shift in your seasons, in your motivation and all those things, don't be discouraged about that. Embrace that. Be okay with that. Say, okay, yeah, this is my season for maybe slowing down a little bit, having a little bit more rest, so that when the spring comes, I'm going to be even more motivated and come out of a place of rest to be able to do all those things, rather than just feeling sad and sorry for yourself and shame and trying to do those things out of shame. The next thing is, this is something that you can really romanticize, and that is creating a winter wellness routine. So I have talked about having a morning menu, using menus for routines many, many times. I will continue to do so. But if you are feeling like, okay, I need a little reset, I need a little fresh inspiration, sit down and write out winter wellness routine. Make a Pinterest board. Think about things that you can do in the winter that maybe are a little bit different than what you would do in the summer, and really lean into that. So some examples of things that you could include for your winter wellness routine is like, okay, I personally feel like winter, to me, like my night routine is a lot more important to me. In the summer, my nighttime routine isn't really as important, because often it's like we'll be doing things later in the evening, or we'll hang out with friends, or we won't get home, and like we're traveling a lot more. So like the nighttime routine is not as crucial to me. In the winter, my nighttime routine feels a lot more important. I feel like most people's feel more important because they're at home more. They're probably going to be going to bed a lot earlier. I feel like that could be one area to focus on for if you're working on trying to create a routine. Focus maybe on building out a really good nighttime routine. Maybe that includes like, okay, I'm going to always make like a cup of tea before bed. I'm going to get into bed at half an hour before I want to fall asleep. I'm going to read before bed. Really lean into having some type of routine and something that like feels exciting and feels a little bit different than in the summer. I'll talk about a few of my things that are like my winter essentials that have been like just key for me this winter. First of all is my Kindle. I talk about this almost every episode, but my Kindle has been such a game changer when it comes to my bedtime routine and being able to read before bed. First of all, it just makes me feel smart, okay? Like reading a book, doesn't matter what I'm reading. It just is like, I read. That's who I am. I'm a reader. So you know what? Even just for that satisfaction alone, having my Kindle has been the best. Also being able to go and update like what I've been reading on Goodreads just has been giving me a little bit of a serotonin boost every time that I do it. The next thing is that we swapped out our lights, like our bulbs in our room, for like color changing ones. So in the evening we can set it to like be like red light or like any color, but like blue or red or anything, and like changing the lights from being like just like bright white ones to like a cozy red light or something like that just makes our room feel way more like spa like, and like it's like actually like different than just our regular day to day. And I've just loved turning those lights on and being able to read at night. The best. Another winter essential has been Aquaphor. I'll show you. Oh, I have all these little things down here. Okay, my Kindle. I need a different pop socket because my pop socket fell off. The cute part of it fell off. My Kindle, this has been my first one. Then Aquaphor. This is what it looks like. And Aquaphor is just the best all year round. I have really eczema prone skin, so I use this all the time, but especially in the winter, I will literally lather my whole face with this before bed. And if you want to look like a glazed donut, this is the thing. Okay, next is a diffuser. I've been getting really a lot back into using my diffuser. I feel like I used them. I've got most of my diffusers, I think, like in 2016 to 2020, in that time range, and I used them quite a bit then. But then I kind of stopped and just like haven't been using them as much. However, recently I was inspired to get back into them. I went into the Sage store here in Canada. I don't know if they have Sage in the States, and they had all their diffusers on, and it smelled so good. And I was like, why do I not ever use my diffuser? So as you can see, I have this one set up here, and I have Liquid Sunshine is the diffuser scent that I've been using. And there it's like citrusy and fresh. Even the name, Liquid Sunshine, like that just makes my winter days so much better. And a little tip for you, if you have a diffuser and you find yourself like not using it very much or like whatever, one way to use it and make a habit of actually making it part of your routine, have a bottle of water like this right beside your diffuser. So before, I would like always have to take my diffuser and like go to the kitchen sink or the bathroom to go fill it up. So then guess what? I would not fill it up, because I would fill it up once, and then I would like the next day I would get into bed and I'd already be in bed, and I'd go to turn on. I'm like, oh, I forgot to fill it up. Like, I'm not going to get out of bed now. I'm already so cozy. So having this by my bed, I can fill my diffuser up like, I don't know. I filled this up a couple weeks ago. No, not a couple weeks ago, at the beginning of the week. So like I can probably fill my diffuser up like 15 times with this. highly recommend. I will see, I bought everything. I bought my diffuser and the liquid sunshine in person, but I'll see if they sell it online, and if so, I will link it. The liquid sunshine diffuser smell especially, like that is, it's the best. Okay, another thing that's been getting me through my winter is my Ultra Human ring. I have been loving it so much, especially for my sleep tracking. I didn't really think I was going to be into it because when people used to post their sleep scores and stuff on Instagram, I was kind of like, why do these people care? Like, you slept. But it's actually been very interesting to see, like, when I do certain things, how it does affect my sleep at night. So I definitely highly recommend. I finally have a code for them, so I will link my code below. I believe it's like, you can click the link, and I believe my code is VE10. So check out Ultra Human. It's been definitely one of my winter favorites for sure. Lastly, or the last two things. First of all, making little wellness shots. I have been keeping ginger and lemon regularly in my fridge, and I will make like a little wellness shot whenever I'm feeling maybe a little bit of a little tickle in my throat or feel like I can feel sickness coming on. I do not know if this is a placebo thing. I think it is, because I don't think those things like instantly just take things away. But it's just been something for my winter that gives me, again, a little bit of a serotonin boost and makes me feel like I'm doing something healthy, which I think even if it's just placebo, I'll take it. The last winter thing I've been loving has been tea. I have been such a coffee girl the last 2 years, but I've been really leaning into having tea, and I just love it so much. It's so warm and comforting, and I don't know, I've just been really getting back into it, and that's just a reminder that tea exists, and it can be very cozy and warm, especially with a little bit of honey. Okay, the next thing in our winter reset is establishing a bare minimum and being okay with it. This is similar to what we were talking about how not expecting the same thing from us, but what we need to embrace is okay, what does a bare minimum day look like for us? And what are we going to do to kind of pull ourselves together on those days? So for me, there's days in the winter, today was one of them, where I wake up and I can just feel in my body that like they're not the same. Things are not like how I want them to be. My energy level isn't as high. However, I know that there are still real life responsibilities that I have to show up for. I have to continue on. And so what is that going to look like for me today? So my bare minimum was getting out of bed, making sure that our family got breakfast, grocery shopping, and doing my podcast. Those are like my bare minimum tasks. I need to get those things done. And then once I'm done those things, I'm going to let go of the expectation that I do anything beyond that. This is obviously going to look different for person to person, but for me, those are like my responsibilities that I need to do. So obviously, like waking up, making breakfast for my son. I'm a mom and I can't just abandon the responsibility of being a mom. I need to show up and do that. Grocery shopping, again, we need food in our house. I don't want to order food out. It was important to me that we go grocery shopping, get the food that we need, and then recording the podcast. I really want to be consistent with the podcast this year, and so that's a non-negotiable for me. But even just being able to say to yourself when you wake up and you can feel like, oh, this is not going to be a good day, instead of saying, oh, this is not a good day, being able to say like, okay, this is a bare minimum day. This is a low energy day. Using that type of terminology can really help in feeling like the day is not a full write-off. It's just like, okay, it's not a full write-off. I'm just doing a little bit less than I normally would be. Winter is the season for hobbies, and I feel like this is the time of year when people are at home more, they have more free time. And so if you do not have some type of hobby that is an off-screen hobby, I would really encourage you to try something new this year, even if it's like something very, very simple and you're not fully investing in like creating a whole new hobby. One thing that I have been doing has been doing watercolors more. For me, this is something that is very easy for me to do. Right now in my current life, I don't have the time to like pull out a lot of things or use up a lot of like brain power to like try to start a new hobby or learn something or follow a pattern. But what I can do is I can pull out paint and I can set it up on our table, and like me and my son can do it together, or he can work on something or like play with something beside me while I'm doing it. And honestly, with my son's like attention span right now, it's not like we're sitting there for like 2 hours and doing this, but being able to do something tangible with my hands has been so nice. It helps with those long winter afternoons where it feels like, oh my goodness, there's so much time still between like dinner and bedtime. And so being able to do a little hobby and lean into that has been great. There's definitely way more things out there than just watercolors. I'm sure if you type in like cozy girl hobbies for the winter into YouTube, you'll find a whole rabbit hole of things to do. But don't just spend time watching the videos. Actually pick one of the things and try to implement it into your week this week. Next is leaning into community. This time of year can be very easy to kind of like isolate. People are sick, people aren't as available. It's like once you finish dinner and stuff, it's like, oh, I don't really feel like going out. But this is my encouragement to push yourself into community. Try invest in your relationships, spend time with the people that you love. I just feel like there's certain people and like so many of my friends that when I hang out with them, no matter what we're talking about, whether it's like we're actually having deep conversation or we're just hanging out, I always come away feeling better than if I were to be alone. So an example, last week I had a really like just hard week. I wasn't doing super great. And I had plans with my friends. It was like, I think we were planning to hang out like 7:30 and just my whole day hadn't gone as planned. It was not going well. And by the time like 6:30 rolled around, I was just like, I want to cancel so badly. I just want to stay home. I want to watch Bridgerton. I want to have a bath and I want to go to bed. I do not feel like talking or seeing people or anything. But I knew at the back of my mind, I'm like, I know that I will feel better and that it's good for me to spend time with other people, especially because it's winter, it's dark. It's just, I know that if I'm by myself at home, it's just, I'm going to end the night and just feel not good. So I forced myself to go. I texted my friends ahead of time and was kind of like, oh, I honestly, guys, like I'm having such a rough day. I don't really feel like coming, but I'm going to rally. Like I'm going to push through. And as expected, it was so good. I'm so glad I went. I left feeling encouraged. I left just knowing that like there's more to this world than just me and my problems. And so just even if you don't feel like it, lean into your friendships, lean into your community. This is the time of the year that we really need people. And I feel like most people can feel lonely in the winter. So definitely push into those relationships. Okay, that has been my little winter reset for you guys. The last thing I will say is to just try to embrace the winter. I know that it's hard, and I used to like always say like, oh, I hate winter. I hate the snow. I hate. This year, I've been really trying to just lean into the fact that, okay, this is a cozy season. This is a different season. It's still not my favorite season. I still don't love when I go outside and it's like freezing cold, but I'm going to be okay with it. And I'm not going to like hate on it so much. I'm going to try to embrace the good things about it. I know it's hard and I'm working on it too. It may help because this year here in Kelowna, it has not snowed. It's literally, there's no snow outside. So that probably helps because it makes like, you know, things like walking around and I don't have to scrape off my car, things like that. So that probably does help. But I just want to encourage you that our mindset really does matter and that having a good attitude and not being like positive in a like toxic way, but just being okay with embracing the way things are definitely does help. I hope that you leave feeling motivated, encouraged. Let me know what you are doing this week to embrace the winter and to reset for the winter, whether that is, you know, making some wellness shots, leaning into having tea before bed, creating a nice cozy night routine. Tell me what you're doing. I would love to know. Definitely give us a follow. My personal Instagram is VictoriaHarderXO. Our podcast Instagram is Hot Mess Habits. I hope to have some new graphics up on the podcast Instagram. I don't think I've posted since the beginning of the year, but with this episode specifically, I want to do a little like winter reset guide on there. So go look on there. And if I haven't posted it, send me a DM and say, where's the winter reset post, Victoria? Anyways, I hope that you guys have a wonderful week. We'll see you back here next week. Talk to you guys later. Bye.